PokeRamble Podcast.
On this week's episode, we'll be talking about some of the hardest Pokemon challenges we faced. Apart from that, there's a lot of Pokemon news to cover, so let's get on. I'm your host, Kamal, and I'm joined by the Battle Frontier brain himself, Amit. Welcome to the PokeRamble Podcast. How's it going?
Good evening. It's good.
Good
I'm
evening.
excited for this podcast. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, you had a good week?
Yeah, week's been good. I went to the South Downs on Friday, which was really nice. Got to do a
Absolutely
really
no
nice
one
walk.
knows where that is. If it was somewhere in Galar, where would it be?
It would probably be.
Turffield, would you say? Lots of grass, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
well, I mean, where do you start? Where do you start the game? What's the Wedgehurst? It would
Yeah.
probably be the fields around Wedgehurst.
Okay, fair enough. So,
Yeah.
somewhere nobody knows.
Sure.
Yeah, fair enough. I've just been playing Ghost of Tsushima all week. It's all I could do. I've beat the game yesterday, so yeah, I'm free now. I'm free to talk about
Congratulations.
Pokemons and stuff like that.
Nice.
I'm sure everyone will be pleased to hear. But yeah, we've got a big show ahead of us. You wanted to do a certain topic, which was the hardest Pokemon challenges we faced, which we'll be getting into later on in the show. But I thought it was a very
I'm so
interesting
excited.
topic.
It's going to get very animated. I'm very excited.
I don't know what to think of that because I'm not sure what you mean by animated, but hey, we'll get there. So I think we'll talk about the lesser sort of news. There's not been much this week, to be honest with you, in terms of Pokemon news, but I've managed to fill out some sections, so we'll just go ahead and start talking about that now, shall we?
Let's go.
Okay, so the first thing up is what's Pokemon going on. So there was Go Fest this weekend, which I'm currently playing as we speak. It was over 2 days. So the first day we had all sorts of Pokemon spawning across different sort of themes that we discussed, like friendship, fire, water, grass sort of themes. It was right. And today there was a sort of like a takeover of Pokemon Fest, or whatever they call it now. Go Fest, there we go. It's been an okay event. I'll talk more about it next week, but yeah, I've just been doing that in terms of Pokemon Go. But because of what people have done during Go Fest, they've unlocked something called Dragon Week. And essentially what Dragon Week is, July 31st to August 7th, you'll have Dragon type Pokemon spawning more often than not. Traditionally in Pokemon Go, Dragon type Pokemon are quite hard to get. So you can have loads of Dragon Pokemon all over the place. So some of them will be in the wild, some of them will be in 7km eggs, like Dino over there. And the sort of thing to say is Dino's going to be shiny now. It's going to be available shiny. So if you want a shiny Dino, then get hunting, get hatching those eggs on July 31st. But that's it when it comes to Pokemon Go and events. Niantic, apart from that, have confirmed that the level cap will be increasing soon, so you'll be able to go past level 40. And don't worry if you're already level 40. Any experience you've been collecting since that level will carry over to the new level cap. I speculate. It only makes sense. And they've also confirmed that Pokemon you currently own can Mega Evolve once Mega Evolution is released. So that's really good news. And the last thing to say is storage upgrades have reached a maximum of 3,500 Pokemon, which I desperately needed because I'm a hoarder when it comes to Pokemon. So yeah, some Pokemon Go news there. Any thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah, I heard that they've been releasing a lot of new shiny Pokemon, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure lots of people are itching to get their hands on them. And that'll be a fun, I guess, challenge for people who've already kind of either completed the decks or, have done most of the things in the game. That'll be a whole new, I'm sure, breath of fresh air for people.
Talking of shinies, I mean, this event, compared to traditional Go Fest events, hasn't had quite the big boost to shiny rate everyone wanted. I know some people have got like 9 shinies, and personally I've got 2. Which was Alolan, Executor, and Swablu. But yeah, it hasn't been as sort of shiny filled as most people thought. But yeah, it was a fun event, and yeah, like you said, there's going to be a lot more shinies unlocked in the game, and will be in future events. So look forward to that. But we'll move on to our next section if you've got nothing else Go related to speak about.
Yeah, I was curious actually. Did you think it was worth the ticket price?
Not really. Like there was a lot of cool Pokemon that you got and whatnot, but in terms of and today was actually probably my favorite day out of the 2 days. But in terms of the price point, I don't even think for regular Go Fest it's worth the money. But we talked about where the money is going, and the money is going towards local businesses that have been affected by COVID and to charities, and so I decided it was worth it on that sort of regard. And the other thing is like, outside of COVID, I played Pokemon Go quite a lot on my commutes to in and out of work, and when I'm going to meet up with friends and stuff like that. So I thought, I've played this long, it deserves a bit of money. So yeah, that's my sort of motivation behind buying the ticket in the first place. Yeah. So yeah, that's it with Pokemon Go. We shall move on. Jinx. No, so you want to be a Pokemon Masters. Yeah, so we've had the bug out event. And how have you been finding this bug out event?
I'm loving it. So I literally am now setting alarms on my phone to make sure that I literally pop new eggs and incubators as soon as the timer runs out. And for my diligence, no, I was rewarded today with a shiny Scyther.
I can't believe that.
Absolutely, I'm so thrilled, so excited.
Just on that then, have you been hatching the gold eggs, silver eggs, bronze eggs, or what eggs have you been hatching?
I'm only hatching level 3 eggs, the gold eggs.
Same.
Because they have the highest shiny rate, and even though bronze eggs hatch twice as fast, the rate is still not. It's not half; it's less than half.
Yeah.
So it does make mathematical sense to hatch 3-star eggs if you're looking for the shinies. But if you are trying to farm egg tickets to buy all the stuff in the shop, then obviously bronze eggs are your best bet.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing. I've been grinding the sort of bug out event, and I found a team that can auto it now, which is quite nice. So I've been just constantly getting those gold eggs and just been incubating them as soon as the other ones have stopped incubating. But I haven't had any luck with shinies at the moment just yet. But yeah, no, it's really cool that there's 2 shinies, not just one. Like we speculated last week, is actually Pinsir and Scyther can be shiny. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It's good. So I'm now up to 2 lifetime shinies in Pokemon Masters, which I'm thrilled about.
Yeah, I'm in a grand total of 0.
Well. I'm hoping this is just like Sword and Shield, and hopefully I'll get Pinsir as well.
Oh yeah, it's like opposite, isn't it? Like I'm just finding these random shinies left, right, and center, and you're just like, wait, what? Where's my shinies?
Exactly that.
Fair enough.
But I think I don't know if you got the message I sent you just now. The other sort of ridiculous luck that I'm having in Pokemon Masters is that every day you can do a free pull.
Yeah.
That normally just gives you items. Most of them are pretty trashy, but you have a very low chance of getting a free sync pair.
Yeah.
Today
Let me just clarify this: very, very low chance of getting a free sync pair.
Today I literally just got a 3rd free sync pair in 1 week.
Oh my god! Are you just
all screenshotted and sent to Kamal for
evidence. Why can't I be lucky and bad? Just let me be lucky and bad.
What? Who said I'm bad?
No, you're absolutely lucky and bad. Okay, this is me being salty, and you will accept this. It's the only thing that makes me comfortable.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun in Pokemon Masters. Excited for the big changes that are coming up this week. I think they drop Wednesday morning.
Yeah, so I was just going to get onto that, but we've got maintenance coming on the 29th. So yeah, Wednesday, I believe, like you said. And just as a tip to people, if you don't want to know what's coming in the next month, just stay away from subreddits and maybe like, those news sites just for a couple of days, I guess, because you'll have a lot coming out of those maintenance updates. So yeah, there's just a warning on that. But talking about updates, actually, I've got some screenshots to share with you all. So Pokemon Masters Japan have previewed a few things. The first is the stamina system. So in the image I've pulled up here, and for audio listeners, on the top right-hand side, you've got like a stamina bar, which tells you how much stamina you've got to play a stage. And it also goes up by your rank, so the higher rank you are, the more stamina you'll have, and it's also got a timer to tell you when your stamina is going to refill. So that's the first screenshot. The second screenshot is skip tickets. So skip tickets are going to be these things where you can play a stage, but instead of actually having to do the work in the stage, you can just skip over it and get the rewards for it. Now, in a lot of sort of Japanese gacha games, you have these skip tickets. Once you've completed a stage, you can go past it. You can redo the stage, but you don't have to battle it all over again. You can just get the rewards for it. So that's a new sort of thing that they're adding into Pokemon Masters to make grinding less what's the word? Give me a good word here. Less
Time consuming.
Time consuming. Arduous. Go on. Let's go with arduous.
Nice. Oh, good word.
Thank you. And the third screenshot I've got is the new training area. So the new training area will include evolution stone areas where you can farm evolution stones for your Pokemon, and sync orbs area where you can farm sync orbs. So those are two new areas. I'm not sure how I feel about the sync orb area, but we'll see when it comes out. And the last one, well, there is no last one actually. That's spoilers for the next segment. So yeah, that's it really. What do you think of those things?
Yeah, I'm excited because obviously I only started playing Pokemon Masters again recently, so I'm a little behind the curve. So I'm hoping that particularly the sync orbs, which are good enough to come by at the moment, but it's a nice way to be able to reliably farm them. Obviously, at the moment you can get 300 a day, so to be able to get more than that is hopefully going to be really helpful, because you need a lot of them to unlock sync grids for all the characters. But you know, I'm going to be really interested to see how I feel about the stamina system now that I'm playing the game again. I was a big proponent of it before I started playing the game. I wonder how I'm going to feel now that I'm playing the game and trying to catch up.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite an interesting experience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're a big fan of it when you weren't playing, and now you're playing like, oh, hang on a minute, this affects me all of a sudden.
Yes, very much so.
But anyway, we'll move on to the next section unless you've got anything for Pokemon Masters.
No, that's all.
TCG. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. So we got a new thing, a new set coming out in September onwards. It's called the Champions Path set, and what's really interesting about this set is it takes you through the Galar gyms. So there's 8 boxes in total relate to the Galar gyms, and obviously you've got Alistair and B on one side, and you've got Gordy and Melanie on the other side, which represents the two differences between the games. But what do you think about this reveal of the Champions Path set?
It's a nice way to kind of show off the Galar region, and
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked a lot of the cards from Champions Path, the ones that we've been talking about in recent weeks in Legendary Heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the English name of that set. I'm a big fan of the designs of some of these cards. So hopefully and I haven't seen all the promotional cards yet, but I'm hoping that it'll be really nice for people to get to pick these sets up and enjoy them because they're good looking cards.
Yeah, and just on that, actually, you get pins as well in addition to the cards, which I'm quite interested in. So I might pick up a few of these boxes just for the pins. Nothing on that. No response. It's quiet.
No, I was very quickly just trying to remember the name of the gym leader on the left, the rock type gym leader.
Gordy, wasn't it?
Gordy, yeah. No, I think the pins are going to be cool. I mean, looking at them from here, they look to be the gym badges. So that's going to be really, really exciting if that's what they are, because then you can collect all 8 gym badges.
Just as a question, by the way, did you play that classic Pokemon board game?
Which one?
I assume he's talking about the new one, the new TCG one. Sorry, this Turtles Run 101 in the chat.
Sorry, I saw the question now. Turtles, are you talking about the Pokemon board game that came out a couple of weeks ago, or the Dynamax TCG game we talked about last week?
While we wait for his response, we'll go on to the next bit of the Champions Path set, and it's that we're getting an Elite Trainer box with this sweet-looking full art Charizard V. So it's going to be about £50. I think in English money, it'd be £50. I know it's like $50. It's probably going to translate over that way. But very cool looking art, and I've never got an Elite Trainer box myself, simply because I can't really justify spending that much money on TCG, but it looks pretty good. It looks nice and designed. You thought his wings
it's a really
were
nice,
maps,
really
didn't
nice
you?
card.
You thought Charizard
Yeah,
Wing was a map.
I didn't like the design of the Elite Trainer box. I thought that Charizard's wings looked like a map, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. But I like the full art design.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it's amazing. And just the last thing on the champion set is that you're actually going to get a double and well, who is it? Double and Hatterene box sets as well to represent Hop and Bead, but you won't see the trainers on it. But what interestingly enough, you will see Marnie. Marnie's getting her own champions box with Morpeko and Grimmsnarl. Now, I think in the European version, you're only going to get Morpeko and not a Grimmsnarl pin, but it's a funny decision just to include her and not Bead and Hop. But hey, I'm not the Pokemon Company. But nice looking Morpeko card. And
Yes,
he's
it
gone
is.
silent again.
Yeah, no. So I was actually looking up the question in the chat about the Pokemon Master Trainer board game.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Which I don't think I'd ever heard about. So I've just gone to look it up. It came out in 1999, 2000. Apparently, it's incredibly difficult and complicated. But at some point, we need to get our hands on it because it looks fantastic. But no, I never got the chance to play it. I'm gutted that I didn't.
Yeah, this looks insane.
Yeah, sets are going on eBay at the moment for somewhere between 60 and 100 quid. So we'll have to figure something out at some point, and maybe GoFundMe a copy of the board game.
Oh my god, this looks
And
amazing.
we could totally play it live on stream.
Well, I admit you do know it's my birthday next week, so if you want to get something for my birthday, you know. But anyway, that's enough about my birthday. Let us move on to the next section. Welcome to the Pokemon Caf. May I take your order, please? So yeah, Pokemon Caf. What's happening in Pokemon Caf?
We've got some new Pokemon who were joining the cafe. So Blossom and Executor showed up during the week and are now part of the Pokemon that you can recruit to work with you. And the new event is that Dragonite is now showing up, or about to show up. So Dragonite has a pretty powerful clear skill. So it'd be pretty exciting. I mean, the artwork for Dragonite looks so cute. I really like the design.
Dude, it's just every week we see these designs. I'm just like, oh, am I going back to it? Am I going back to it?
It's the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing where I really want to see like a wallpaper, and I'd have it as my PC wallpaper or something.
Okay, yeah.
And I'd be totally fine with that, or a phone background or something.
Sophie would just walk in and just be like, "What's the meaning of all this? What is the meaning of all this?"
Like, it's Pokemon Cafe.
So yeah, that's it really of Pokemon Caf. 3 new Pokemon and 1 special customer being one of those, Dragonite.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it really. We'll move on to our main topic. So for the main topic this week, we thought we'd talk about the hardest Pokemon challenges we've faced. Now these are going to be in-game challenges rather than user-made challenges. That'll be its own topic. But you know, the Pokemon games are a ton of fun. They're easily accessible to a lot of people, but some of these games do have their challenges. And whilst this list isn't a definitive guide as to, you know, what are the hardest things in Pokemon games are, because that's very much subjective to each person, we've got a lot of things to say about these next few challenges we're going to be talking about. So to kick off, I've got 4 I want to talk about, if you don't mind.
Take the lead.
The first one's going to be a video, so please enjoy the video. So that video comes by way of slight banter on Reddit, and it's titled "Johto Players When They Knock Out Whitney's Clefairy." So Whitney, as a kid, playing Pokemon Silver, she was a nightmare. This was a place where many a kid got stuck. They were stuck in Goldenrod, no way to go forward. I guess Sudowoodo played a big part of that as well. But yeah, Whitney, she was a gym leader that had this Miltank, and this Miltank would do damage to your team. You know, this Miltank had Attract, so it will stop you from attacking most of the time. It had Milk Drink to heal up, and then it had that one dreaded move, Rollout. Rollout that took out every single member of my team when I was a kid. What are your memories of Whitney and Miltank?
Whitney was a nightmare in the anime as well. She beat Ash many a time with rollout. But yeah, in the anime, she's a tough one to beat, and access to fighting type Pokemon is very very limited early on in both Gold and Silver. So trying to land super effective moves just isn't an option. You have to go with brute strength and hope that your starter or another Pokemon on your team is just strong enough to take the hits and dish damage back out.
If I
It's a
remember
hard,
correctly,
hard
you
battle.
could get a sort of Nidoran, but you would have to go out your way to go get it and teach it double kick or something like that.
That's a lot of effort.
Yeah, I mean, and being kids, this is what I grew up with. You're not thinking. It's easy to look back here as an adult and be like, oh, it wasn't that hard and stuff like that. But when you're a kid and you're just playing the game normally and you just come up against this Miltank, you're like, oh, this is awkward.
Yeah, it's a tough battle, that one.
Yeah, but it felt all the more sweeter when you get past Miltank. I was going to say beating her, but that's not the right terminology to use.
Well, do you know what? It's a hollow victory because you make Whitney cry, and then you have to go and comfort her, and it's a whole thing.
Hey! She made us cry. She deserves to cry as well. But
True.
we're going to move on to the next one. And this artwork has been around for absolute years. Absolute years. But so I can't credit it because I have no idea who originally created it, but it's one of the best renditions of sort of what the scene is and how I sort of remember it in my head, even though it looks nothing like how it actually looks. But Pokemon Silver, you got the first super boss of sorts in the Pokemon games, which was Red. And to give you an idea of how ingrained Red is in the Pokemon sort of game series, everyone associates the Champions theme that you actually first hear with Lance to Red. That at that point it's actually Red's theme, not Lance's theme. I mean, this guy rolled up with a level 81 Pikachu out of nowhere. And then let's not talk about the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes where he comes with a level 88 Pikachu. But man, he was one of the most difficult fights I've ever faced as a kid in the Pokemon franchise. And he had this Snorlax, which was just a monster. It was just a monster. It was just so difficult to kill the Snorlax. And, having a high level team at the top of Mount Silver combined with his Snorlax and the high level Pikachu, I was just like, yeah, it wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time for me. What do you remember about Red?
I remember being absolutely astonished at how high level his Pokemon were, because I think the Elite Four caps at sort of 60, 65, and you rock up to Mount
And
Silver.
that's the second time you beat them, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you've already, you've beaten 16 gyms at this point. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. You beat the Elite Four a second time. And then you show up to Mount Silver and Red's standing there with level 80 Pokemon, and you're sort of thinking, where do they come from? It's a really,
what is the meaning for this, Jackie?
And it's also hidden away. Like, the game doesn't really sort of massively force you to go to Mount Silver and seek out Red.
No, you can't go to Mount Silver at the beginning because you haven't gotten all the requirements. But when you have all the requirements, the guy that was stopping you from going to Mount Silver sort of disappears. You walk out and then you see Mount Silver, and like, you're totally right. Like, they don't tell you there's a reason to go up Mount Silver, only that there's powerful Pokemon there, and that's it.
It's a really cool little post-game challenge once you've beaten the Elite Four to take down Red.
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of like the final ending to the game.
Yeah.
In my view.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and it was a big surprise to me as a kid. And I guess in this age of social media and stuff like that, you would never get that sort of surprise without someone spoiling it for you. So it was really cool to have that back in the day. But yeah, very difficult challenge. But here's one of the other ones: Ultra Necrozma, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. Wow, this thing, when you first walk up to it and you hear its theme, it portrays that you're fighting this divine being. But me being me, thinking, oh, it's just a Pokemon game, it's going to be totally fine. No, he's got that theme for a reason. This thing took out my entire team 3 times before I beat it. 3 times. It's because it doesn't, no matter what you have, it will just one-shot it. With Photon Geyser, Dragon Pulse, Smart Strike, Power Gem, it's got such great coverage. And the other thing is, it's got an ability where it's super effective moves do even more damage. Top of that, its stats go up to like 750, I think, total. And not only that, but it's got this aura that gives +1 to each stat. So no matter what you do, it's gonna outspeed you. So you're not gonna have a good time. You're not gonna have a good time. How did you fare with this fight?
it was so unexpected and a really tough battle. And I think the bit that really put me off at first is you're right. Like the rest of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon up to that point had been pretty straightforward,
Yeah, it was a doddle.
and the equivalent battle in Sun and Moon was actually really straightforward. Um, this was a really intense battle. I actually did win first time round, but it required revives and other such things that I don't think I'd used in a very long time in a Pokemon game.
No. And do you remember how you ended up beating it? Because I ended up putting a Quick Claw on my Toxapex and using Toxic. Just switching
Oh
around
my
constantly. I had to.
I think Greninja played a big part in it because it had protein that allowed me to get around some of its moves.
Mhm.
But I don't remember exactly how I beat it.
Yeah, no, but it had a good theme, and I saw a YouTube comment which made me laugh a lot. It goes like this: in the beginning, Arceus said, "Let there be light," and Ultra Necrozma replied, "Say please." So it just illustrates how strong that Pokemon was. And the last one
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I've got is Annabelle. Annabelle from Pokemon Emerald. And obviously the artwork on the right hand side is from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where you meet her in the sort of battle tower. Not battle tower, battle tree. But yeah, I completely had repressed this memory until you started talking about the battle frontier and battle tower and whatnot, because I remember being in the sort of Pokemon Emerald in the battle tower, crushing everybody. And then she comes up at like I think Streak 35, and she's got a team of Alakazam, Entei, and Snorlax. And whilst I saw Entei, I was like, "Oh no, this is not a good time for me." I managed to beat it. Managed to beat Snorlax. I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is fantastic." Keep continuing, and then you get to the gold symbol, which is Streak 70, and then she brings out a Raikou, Latias, and a Snorlax. Yeah, it destroyed me. She destroyed me, and I'll never get over it. And I can't believe after all these years I remembered this one memory of her. Did you have any experience with Annabelle?
Annabelle is a tough. I mean, she's in theory, she's like meant to be one of the toughest bosses in the Battle Frontier, because it's the most straightforward setting. It's just winning battles. But her Latios packs an absolute punch. And that normally it's Latios that would shut my team down.
Yeah, I can't, like, having one legendary is like hard enough as it is, but then having two, it's just like, oh, come on, come on. And then Snorlax is never a fun fight, just in general. Snorlax is never a fun thing to come up against, especially with rest. But before I move on to some of the ones that you've listed down, I just want to shout out Turtles Run in the chat, who says that Madpod versus Madpod from the series was the most intense battle. So thank you for that. But yeah, so what's number one on your list?
Yeah, so I mean, you've picked some very specific battles that you found really difficult. I went for a slightly different angle, which
ones that came off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gone for sort of more longer challenges that I found incredibly difficult. And the first one that did my head in was Pokemon Stadium, way back on the N64, and trying to beat the Elite Four at the end of Gym Leader Castle.
Can I just give a shout out to the Gym Leader Castle art? Because this is incredible, dude. They look awesome.
They do, yeah. Honestly, I still maintain that Pokemon Stadium is probably one of the best looking Pokemon games of all time.
For its time as well.
Especially for its time. But even now, I mean, it holds up now. The artwork is fantastic, and they did a really good job with that game. But this is why the Elite Four is so difficult. Firstly, you can't use your own. Well, you can use your own Pokemon if you want to, but the standard challenge is that you have to pick from a list of rental Pokemon. So, of the original 150 Pokemon, you can pick from any of the 149. So you can't use Mewtwo. You also can't use Mew. And you basically pick a team of 6 Pokemon who have to defeat all 4 of the Elite Four and then Gary the champion afterwards. Now, most of those Pokemon are relatively useless. You don't want to bring Caterpie and Weedle. You definitely don't want to bring Metapod. But also, lots of the Pokemon have really poor movesets. So Charizard, for example, rather than having Fire Blast or something that'd be useful, has Fire Spin, which does little to no damage. And Pokemon like Gyarados had Hydro Pump and Thunderbolt, but had a very, very poor special stat. So you weren't able to take advantage of its really powerful attack stat, and you were left with a Pokemon that was a bit useless. And you can see on the screen we've got a Golem that doesn't know Earthquake, that doesn't know Rock Slide, and instead is carrying Metronome and Fire Blast, even though its special stat is so poor. And Electrode,
we're
again.
fans of Metronome in this household, okay?
And then Electrode, having Thunder over Thunderbolt is not the worst thing. But Self-Destruct is obviously a useless move. Swift does relatively no damage. And it's really, really difficult to pick a team of 6 Pokemon who not only are strong enough to beat the Elite Four, but are also reliable enough to guarantee you a win. The Elite Four pulls out some really abusive tactics like spamming Thunder Wave, using Hypnosis, or using moves like Fire Spin and Wrap, which in Generation 1, if you were hit by Fire Spin or Wrap, you couldn't move for the rest of the turn.
Yeah, you're finished. It's a wrap, as they would say.
Yeah, so if the AI was faster than you and it used Wrap or Fire Spin, it could just keep using it over and over again, and you'd never get a chance to move. And the Elite Four had no problems with abusing those tactics. So, my gosh, is Pokemon Stadium's Elite Four a difficult challenge, and well worth trying. There are some people now who are trying to do it with teams that are picked from a random generator.
Oh,
so
God.
you go and a random generator selects 6 Pokemon for you, and you have to try and beat it with that. Some people have done it. It's incredibly difficult. But Pokemon Stadium is a gorgeous game and well worth checking out. If you're not into the battling, the mini games are also great fun with friends. So go play Pokemon Stadium on an emulator because you can't buy an N64 anymore.
You can if you're in Japan and at Comic Cons and stuff like that. But what is next on your list?
So next on my list is the Battle Factory in Pokemon Emerald. So the Battle Factory, headed by Frontier Brain Nolan, who bears no resemblance to my nickname as Frontier Brain, heads up the Battle Factory, where you don't get to use your own Pokemon. So you hand in your Pokemon to the attendant, and the game lets you pick from 6 Pokemon, and you pick a team of 3. And then that team is the team that you fight the first battle with. And after every battle, you have the option to swap one of your rented Pokemon with one of the Pokemon your opponent used. So in theory, over time, as you fight more and more battles, your team gets stronger and you should get more wins. But early on, the Pokemon have really poor movesets. Often they only have one attacking move and other moves that are sort of utility like Thunder Wave or Protect. So really, really difficult to find Pokemon that do good, reliable damage. And also they don't have much type coverage. So rather than having 3 or 4 different moves that might be super, have a chance of being super effective, most Pokemon only had one good damaging move. And the AI was not afraid at all to spam really frustrating tactics like Horn Drill, Fizzer, and Sheer Cold, which are one-hit KO moves, coupled with a Quick Claw. And I literally have recorded footage of times where the AI successfully landed 3 Horn Drills in a row, 2 of which were boosted by a Quick Claw because my Pokemon were definitely quicker, and wiped out my entire team with 3 consecutive Horn Drills.
I will add that most of these games that we play in the post game, when you have these sort of challenges, I always find that the AI is way too smart for what it should be. I could think of every possible outcome, and the AI will find a way of surprising me. You could be doing so well, and just out of nowhere, there's one kid with a Soul Rock could destroy your whole entire team for no reason.
They definitely amped up the difficulty in the Battle Frontier. I mean, the AI make smart decisions, pick super effective moves, but also know how to use the stalling moves like Thunder Wave and Protect at the right times and things like that. So it definitely cranks up the difficulty. Added to the fact that Pokemon Emerald didn't have the physical special split, so lots of good competitive Pokemon just weren't usable. So
Wait,
Gyarados would.
What? I thought it did have this physical special split.
No, physical special split started in Gen 4. So in Generation 3 in Pokemon Emerald, your Gyarados with a Hydro Pump was useless to you, or with Waterfall was useless to you. It was a really interesting. It was the final game that had no physical special split, and it just added to the difficulty really. So actually, a really good. It's a really good. You can find online save files of Pokemon Emerald to play on an emulator that's right up to the battle frontier.
Mhm.
And you can just go and try the battle factory and see how far you get. And I think you need, I want to say 42 wins in order to get the gold symbol. Go and try your best. It is very, very difficult and requires a lot of knowledge about how Pokemon work and also the specific Pokemon that are in the battle factory. So try and do it without a guide. It's a really good challenge.
Have you ever done it then, or are you still attempting to do it?
I'm literally stuck. So I got to 39 and I lost at 39. Then I got to 41 and I lost at 41 wins. So I was 1 win away. But every time you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
So I literally on my emulator save file have 999 hours on my Pokemon Emerald save file just trying to do this battle factory. I
Well,
blitzed through the game
I'm not
and then I
gonna
just tried to do
I'm not gonna make you think about it anymore. What's next?
Oh, it's tough. Moving on. Also in the battle factory in Pokemon, in the battle frontier in Pokemon Emerald, just a couple of doors down the road is the Battle Palace. Now, the hardest thing about the Battle Palace is that you don't actually give your Pokemon the move that they're going to use. The Pokemon picks the move itself, and the Pokemon picks moves based on probability. Um, and no Pokemon has more than an 88% chance of using an attacking type move. And actually, after 88%, the next best chance is 70%. So, for the majority of Pokemon, you have a 30% chance of it not even using a move that would do damage. And even if you put 4 damaging moves on your Pokemon, if a Pokemon rolls to not use a damaging move, it will just skip its turn entirely. And as you can see on screen, it says Slaking is appears incapable of using its power. So,
Did you just say slaking?
slacking. Slacking. We'll go with slacking.
It's slacking. Come on. It's the pun.
Listen.
It's a pun on the Pokemon.
It's true. It's true.
Sorry, I
But
can't
this
just look. I can't just let you escape from the fact you said slaking.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, to be fair, I do the same to you when you make
Yeah,
mistakes, so it's
fair.
fine. But it's probably the most frustrating thing in Pokemon Emerald is that you have no control over your destiny. Your Pokemon will pick moves at a whim, and those moves may not be even the ones that are super effective. You literally are relying on RNG and probability to even see if your Pokemon will use a move, forget if it's a useful one. And the bit that makes it even more frustrating is even if you build a Pokemon with, the best probability to use an attack, after the Pokemon falls to less than 50% HP, it uses an entirely different algorithm to decide what move it's going to use.
Fantastic.
So Pokemon that were really good at full HP are then terrible when they reach half health.
It reminds me of those Pokemon in max raid battles.
It's worse than the AI in Max Ray battles.
We'll move
I
on,
kid you
but I will say it is quite disappointing when we got the remakes that we never got anything like it. I was so convinced we would, and
yeah, I would have
it's
really
a
liked the
shame.
Battle Frontier in the remakes. They're a lot of fun, and I've honestly sank too many hours into trying to get all 7 gold symbols. It's a really good challenge and well worth it for any of you who are looking for probably the most hardcore battling experience in a mainstream Pokemon game. The Battle Frontier does a stellar job with it.
So we're about halfway in your list, and what is next up?
Next up in Generation 4 is catching a wild Munchlax. So this might seem really straightforward, but the mechanics for catching a Munchlax in Gen 4 are probably the most convoluted of any Pokemon that exists. So scattered across the Sinnoh region are various trees, like you can see on the left, these lovely yellow trees, and you can put honey on those trees to attract wild Pokemon. Now, every time you put honey on the tree, you have to wait 6 real life hours for a Pokemon to spawn on that tree. And there's literally, there's lots and lots of trees around Sinnoh, randomly selected based on your trainer ID. 4 of those trees have a 1% chance to spawn Munchlax. So every single tree needs to be tested. You have a 1% chance of spawning a Munchlax, and every single time you try, you've got to wait 6 hours. And you can't change the DS time, because if you change the time on the DS, that will invalidate the attempt and the honey will disappear. So you have to really, really be patient to catch yourself a wild Munchlax in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum.
Was Instance not in this game then?
No, Incense was in the game, and you can absolutely breed a Snorlax to get Munchlax. But if you want to catch a wild one, this is the only way.
How to Catch a Munchlax coming to Netflix next year.
And I also don't think Snorlax was available in the game.
All right.
So I think you had to PAL Park Snorlax over from Fire Red Leaf Green.
Or wait
and
till
then
a
breed
couple of
it.
years later until you got your remakes.
Yep.
But anyway, anyone that wants Sinnoh remakes, just remember, if you get Sinnoh remakes, you get this tree and honey and Munchlax and whatnot. And is that what you want to bring back into the world? I think not. What's next?
1% chance waiting 6 hours, and it may not even be a tree where it can spawn. Crazy.
Talk to me about Pokemon Ranger.
Yeah, Pokemon Ranger is one of these series that I really love. It's a spin-off series, so not a mainstream title, and the game is premised around you drawing rings with your stylus around Pokemon in order to capture them. And Pokemon Ranger Guardian...
Can I say before you go to Guardians Signs or whatever it's called, because I only played the first Pokemon Ranger, but like some of those like Pokemon to catch were really difficult with the stylus, so you have to be really quick. So I can't imagine what you're going to tell me now.
So catching Pokemon in this game is hard enough.
Oh my God,
the Pokemon use moves that can break your line. There's a whole load of things that can go wrong. And if you run out of time, the Pokemon escapes anyway. But Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs introduced something brand new to the series, which was a challenge mode. So Celebi teleports you into the past, and there's a series of temples where you have to complete a challenge, which is comprised of 3 bits. So there's a maze, and in that maze, you have to catch specific Pokemon. And then as you get through the maze at the end, there's a boss fight. And the whole thing is timed. So you have probably in the region of 90 seconds, up to 10 minutes to complete this challenge. And you can get bonus time and pickups along the way to extend the timer or make your stylus more powerful. But a lot of these maps, if you made a mistake, you basically needed to forfeit the run. And the bit that made it really difficult is the missions in the past, which Celebi brought you to, were designed for multiplayer, but can actually be completed single player. So what you're meant to do is team up with 4 friends and try and take on all of the challenges. But what I did, and what anyone can do, is try and do them single-handedly. And oh my gosh, they are so difficult. So not only is it obviously more difficult because there's only one of you catching Pokemon and only one of you to open up secret doors, but certain maps have shortcuts that rely on there being 4 people, and you can't take those shortcuts. So it's incredibly difficult. You have to level up your partner Pokemon as high as you can in order to beat Arceus in the final temple. And it's a slow grind. And catching wild Pokemon to change your partner Pokemon, the odds are also pretty low. So Lucario is probably one of the most useful Pokemon because it's a fighting type and does good damage against Arceus. But to catch that has a tiny probability. Then you've got to level it up all the way. Then there's only one of you in a map that's designed for 4 people, but you've got to make it all the way to the end. It's an incredibly difficult challenge. If you ever want to break your DS, this is the way to do it.
I don't recommend it. And if you do want to break your DS, get yourself a screen cover. You'll need it. You'll absolutely need it.
True. But I should say, Pokemon Ranger is a fantastic series. And if you've never played one and want to check them out, they're very cheap.
It's a very fun series. Very fun series.
Yeah. Particularly, go play the 3rd one, Guardian Signs. Don't worry about the first 2.
It makes me think that, are we ever going to get such brilliant spin-off games like Rangers and Conquest ever again? Like, oh man, I can't think of a spin-off game where I'm like, yeah, I can really get into this. Apart from those 2, since those 2, I should say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of spin-off games, the next one on the list is also from technically a spin-off.
Like this. Yeah, why can't we have one of these guys on a Switch?
So probably one of the most, talked about games that was never officially a mainstream title. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, a sequel to Pokemon Colosseum on the GameCube. And one of the crazy things about this game is you couldn't catch wild Pokemon. You actually had to catch Pokemon that were what were called shadow Pokemon, that were basically Pokemon turned evil, and you had to catch them off other trainers. So unlike the main games where you can't steal other people's Pokemon, in this game you absolutely can. And you use snag balls to steal other people's Pokemon away. And at the end of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, also at the end of Pokemon Colosseum, but it's harder in Gale of Darkness, is a challenge called Mount Battle. And in Mount Battle, you have to win 100 consecutive battles with your team, which is made extra hard by the fact that you can't actually catch all the Pokemon in XD Gale of Darkness. The selection of Pokemon is really small. A lot of the Pokemon are pretty useless, like, and no offense here, pretty useless, like Delcatty or Ariados. They're just not, when you're fighting legendary Pokemon, they're just not up to scratch. But you have to clear 100 battles in a row. You get healed in between each battle, which helps. But if you lose a battle, you're out. You've got to go back to the beginning. And it's an incredibly tough challenge. So tough that actually, as a reward for beating it in Pokemon Colosseum, you would get Ho-Ho. And for beating it in XD Gale of Darkness, you'd be awarded one of the Johto starters and the very elusive Earth Ribbon, which is incredibly rare to find on any Pokemon, because you'd have had to beat Mount Battle in Gale of Darkness, transfer it to Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald via Pokemon TV. Was it called Pokemon Box? Pokemon TV. There was an app on the GameCube that allowed you to do it.
I don't think it
Then
matters
you would
either
have to,
way.
yeah, then you would have to transfer it through every generation of Pokemon. This is probably one of the toughest battle challenges out there. I mean, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is a fantastic story. Has the best villain in any Pokemon game that there will ever be. Shout out to Mirror B. And well worth playing, but my gosh, is Mount Battle one heck of a challenge.
So, all I'm going to say here is, Nintendo, if you're listening, please give us just like, even if it's not a remake, even if it's just a port, just port these games over to the Switch for us. Okay,
They're fantastic games. If you ever get a chance to play them, you should.
How about what's coming up next?
It's another spin-off. This one actually does have a remake on the Switch. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. But I have picked the original version of this game and not the remake because they made it much easier in the remake. And I'm talking about the final dungeon in the game, Purity Forest. So all through the game, you level up your team, you recruit lots of Pokemon, and Purity Forest strips all of that away. It resets you to level 1, and you lose all of your items, all of your money, and you've got to make it through 99 floors all on your own. Purely based on the luck of what you find in the dungeon. You can't recruit any more Pokemon, it's just you. And you've lost all of your items, all of your abilities. You've got to make it through on your own. And the Celebi that you fight right at the end is level 45. So you do actually have to fight other Pokemon to level up in order to be strong enough to beat the boss Celebi at the end. It's an incredibly tough challenge, and lots of people are trying to do it now in the remake, in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. But they made it much easier in the remake. You can actually recruit other Pokemon along the journey. You also get some other perks as well. So it's actually much easier in the remake. Go back to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team or Blue Rescue Team and give this a try.
Cool. I guess Mega Evolution probably comes into it as well. The fact that you can get Mega Evolution seeds now as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's more items, there's more useful stuff in the remake. I mean, back in the original game, it was an incredibly tough challenge because you had literally no support. You were at level 1, no items, no money, and you had to work your way up. It was almost like a game within itself. Incredibly tough challenge.
It's almost like real life.
It is almost like real life.
Unlike real life, we've got our last challenge, which is...
I couldn't put together a challenge list without my favorite game in the Pokemon series, Poke Park Wii 2, Wonders Beyond. So in Poke Park Wii 2,
I might even just cut you off here and just end the podcast if I have to hear about this game one more time.
I was actually reading about this today in preparation for the podcast. A lot of people think that the combat in this game is what led to Pokken Tournament. So to give you a bit of flavor, battles in this game are real time. So if you want to dodge an attack, you've got to jump to the right or jump to the left. You can jump, you can use Iron Tail, Thunderbolt. You can actually play as any of the Pokemon on screen. So Pikachu, Oshawott, Snivy, or Tepig. And at the end of the game, there is a battle tournament where you have to clear 10 rounds with 3 battles each against lots of challenging Pokemon. So Hydreigon, I think there's Golurk, there's lots of Pokemon there. And it's incredibly tough, not just because your Pokemon don't heal in between battles, but also because you've only got 2 or 3 moves per Pokemon, and Pokemon like Hydreigon are resistant to every single one of those moves. Resistant to electric, resistant to water, resistant to grass, resistance to fire. So you do very little damage to it, and they are some really tough battles. Not just because you've got to get your head around the combat system, but also because the battles are designed to be really tough. If you've never played Pokepark, we don't play the first one, play the second one. It's
You're out of
absolutely
luck,
fantastic.
is what you meant to say. You're out of luck.
I honestly, I can't rave enough about the combat in this game. It's so much fun. But that battle tournament at the end is very, very tough.
Talking about resistances and things that are tough, we'll move on to our next segment. Whether Helioptile is Pokemon Sleep. The Pokemon Company seem resistant to the idea of releasing this game, and it's a really tough thing for us to come back every single week and have to think of something witty to say about Pokemon Sleep. So what have you got for me this week?
So here's the thing. We know that Pokemon Sleep is going to come with an add-on that's going to basically clip onto your pillow. Now, what I'm wondering is whether that clip-on emits some kind of particles. So I'm wondering if maybe they've been testing with maybe a Vileplume or maybe a Bulbasaur. And the problem that they're having is sleep powder is only 75% accurate. What they need to do is they need to hire a Parasect. They need to hire a Parasect because Spore is 100% accurate. So my advice to the Pokemon Company this week is stop using Bulbasaur, stop using your Vileplumes, get yourself a Parasect. Spore is 100% effective. And if you get Parasect and you put a bit of its Spore in the little module that clips into your pillow, I'm sure it will help people fall asleep. Where you're going wrong is sleep powder is not 100% accurate.
I'm sure people can find some Spore at pbxmerch.com. So head on over to that website. But no, thank you very much for the update this week, and I hope the Pokemon Company listens to your wise advice.
I should join the development team.
Do you know what I've done? I've closed the sort of segment mover honor that I normally use. So the music that plays every time we move segments, I've closed that. So I was supposed to like
do the music
smoothly. It's the podcast form news roundup. So Rumble Rush is dead.
Yeah, Pokemon Rumble Rush is finally shut down. I hope those of you who got to play it had a great time. But yeah, it shut down a couple of days ago. It's been removed from App Store, Play Store. If you try and log on, it will say the game's in maintenance. Farewell, Pokemon Rumble Rush.
Yeah, we hardly knew you. But what we do know is that we're getting a free trial for Pokemon Tournament DX, which is actually currently active till Wednesday. So go ahead, download that if you're a Nintendo Online subscriber and try it out for yourself. I think me and you both have played the game before, and we both agree it's quite a fun Pokemon game and quite a good fighting game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and the demo allows you to pick from 3 Pokemon. This trial that is actually the full game, so you can try all the Pokemon out. You can have lots of fun with it, play with friends, play multiplayer, play online. So the free trial for Europe and America starts on Wednesday and runs until Tuesday, the 4th of August. So be sure to download it and play it over next weekend.
Sorry, I thought it was already active. I had no idea. I thought
no, so it is actually active in Japan,
okay.
But the Europe and North America dates are slightly later. So try Pokemon Tournament for free next weekend. See what you think of it. You might really enjoy it.
And the other thing to just mention is that the last episode of Pokemon Twilight Wings, We Hardly Knew It, is on August 6th. So look forward to that. I've got no idea what it's about, but I hope it's about Rose, personally. But hey, we'll see. We shall see.
We shall see.
But yeah, the last thing to mention is actually that there was a Nintendo Giga Leak that happened, and part of that Giga Leak, the source code for Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum has also been released, and there's a bunch of sprites related to Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum floating around. So these are like beta sprites and whatnot. Very interesting, and I think I'm going to give you a week to break it down for the people, and we shall use that as our main topic for next week, if you don't mind. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. What constitutes a Giga League versus a Mega League?
Giga League, consider this. I think the architecture for the 3DS/Wii was also released as well, so that's pretty huge. Mega League is like a bunch of games, but like Giga League, I'd say, is with architecture involved as well.
Wow.
And that's completely off the top of my head, because I have no idea what constitutes the two.
I believe you, man.
But what I do know is that we're moving on to the next segment.
Oh my god.
It's the unknown question or fact of the week. Well, it's a question for most people. It's a fact for me. So yeah, this is I was going to put in the leaked stuff for this section and tease it for next week, but I thought no, give something proper to people. And some people might not realize, but there was a war in the Pokemon universe that one gym leader had actually been a part of. And who's that gym leader? Amit, I will ask.
It was Lieutenant Surge.
Lieutenant Surge. He says to you, "Hey kid, what do you think you're doing here? You won't live long in combat, that's for sure. I'll tell you, kid. I'll tell you, kid. Electric Pokemon saved me during the war. They zapped my enemies into paralysis, the same as I'll do to you. Okay, boomer." But yeah, quite interesting that the Pokemon world had a war of sorts. Which actually,
lots of people speculate.
Sorry.
I was going to say, lots of people speculate that Ash's dad actually died in the Pokemon War.
He got drafted and had to go out to the Pokemon War.
Exactly that.
Fair enough. And Ho, out of guilt, just came to visit Ash to see how he's doing in the first episode.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a mention of war 3,000 years ago as well in X and Y, and how it might tangentially relate to what Lieutenant Surge went through. I don't know how the two correlate, but yeah, war exists in the Pokemon universe. Go figure. Do you think they use real guns or water guns?
Oh, I think it's probably Pokemon warfare.
Okay, fair enough.
No gun is more powerful than a Pokemon.
Well, yeah, when you look at a Mega Blastoise, I guess you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
Or Gigantamax Inteleon.
Yeah, but you can only do that in one region, to be fair.
It's true.
But hey, that's been another episode of the PokeRamble Podcast. Let the people know where to find us.
Real talk for a second. If you Dynamax or Gigantamax and then you just
Here we go.
How far can you walk until you run out? Like there's not enough Dynamax energy.
Well, considering
Real talk for a second.
Considering that you have hotspots in the Galar region where Dynamax and Gigantamax is possible, I suggest you, and this is like artificially pumped throughout the region, I'd suggest that you wouldn't get very far.
But is the energy needed to Dynamax or to sustain Dynamax?
No,
like,
it's needed to Dynamax and sustain Dynamax, yeah.
All right, fair enough. So you can't
sustaining
walk
it is a balance of your own energy and the energy of obviously Eternatus, but to initially Dynamax you do need Eternatus' energy below you. You can't use your own energy.
All right, good talk.
And Turtles, you saw that as well, didn't you? Go on.
No, I was actually going to jump straight into the closing.
Oh well, Turtles Run just says in the chat, is that why 90% of the population are kids, in reference to the Pokemon War? So that's actually a really good really good comment there. But yeah, wrap it up for me.
You can find the PokeRamble Podcast on twitch.tv live every Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. BST or 6:30 p.m. Universal Central Time. where we record the podcast live. Come join us. Come join the chat. It's always good fun to have people. If you can't join us live, we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Come check us out. Search PokeRamble Podcast. We are having 1 or 2 issues with YouTube at the moment, but hopefully we'll have those sorted by next week. Please bear with us. But Spotify and all of your other good podcast services, you should be able to find us there. So go check us out. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, just to ask before we end the podcast, do you know where we are in the podcast ranking? Are we still 64th?
No, we're a little lower than that now.
Till next week. Take care.